In this video, I'm going to be talking about your Eureka response rubric. And this isn't just for Eureka, it would be whatever kind of math problem that you would be responding to. You would probably want to follow these guidelines. But specifically in my class, this is how the points are going to break down. So I wanted to start by talking about the operational or non-constructive response problem. Okay, so these are your problems like 2 plus 2, okay? There's not a word problem involved with that. So it's not saying Jake has 2 buttons and he found 2 more. It's just asking you to add 2 things up. So how would I respond to a problem like this? Well, whenever you're looking at a rubric like this, you want to start at the highest value. So let's start at 3. And let's see, what do I need to get a 3 for this? I need to respond. I need my response to be correct and have sufficient supporting evidence. Well, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Now, that's a correct response, but what would supporting evidence for that be? Now, this is going to vary from problem to problem. Whatever type of math you're doing is going to involve a different level of work to show. Sometimes there's not going to be a lot of work to show, like in this case. And I'll let you know how much work you need to show on any given thing. I'm not all about, you don't need to drag yourself out trying to figure out how you're showing your work here. But for 2 plus 2, just an example, maybe I can draw 2 of something, 2 little buttons, and then 2 more, and then I can see, well, how many do I have altogether? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be supporting evidence. So that would be like a 3 response right there. And 2, I wanted to talk about 2 because response is correct but lacks supporting evidence. So let's say I skip any of the work that I could have done to show what I did, and I just wrote 4, right, in my example. So I just wrote 4 instead of any supporting evidence. Well, I still get the 2, but I didn't support my work, so I don't get all the way up to 3. But it's this other or part right here that I wanted to talk about. Or even if your response is incorrect, if you show your thought process, then you're going to get the point. So let's say, for example, instead of putting 4, I put 5. Okay, 2 plus 2 equals 5. And let's say I come over here and I show my work and I'm counting up 1, 2, 3. And then I go from 2 to 4 to 5. And so I just counted wrong, but I showed my work and I can see where you messed up. You can see where you messed up and I can show you. So you showed your work, but you got a wrong answer. That's a 2-worthy score right there. Okay, so 2 is the key thing here. Even if you get the answer incorrect, you'll have a chance to get your points if you show your work. All right. 1, your response is incorrect and it lacks supporting evidence. You don't want a 1 or a 0, okay? Most of the time with these, 1 is just you threw something down. Like you scribbled a 6 or something in there. You didn't bother even explaining what you did, okay? And then no response, obviously you're not going to get any points if you don't do any of the work. So, and I'm going to demonstrate how this applies in some more specific problems right now. 7th grade, Module 1, Lesson 1, Problem Set. All right, so through this problem set 1 through 1 through 2, 1 and 2 are going to be what you would consider operational, okay? There's not a whole lot going on with it. The number 2 actually has like a word problem with it, but I'm going to shorten that down. So, so let's look at number 2 first. We'll start with that one. So we're going to write 3 ratios that are equivalent to the given one. Okay, and I don't care about this. Okay, don't care about the story. I want you to give me 3 ratios that are equivalent to 18 to 4. Okay, fantastic. All right. And let's start up here with 1, and let's look. Okay, so we're going to find a unit rate for each. Okay, so we talked about this in the lesson. How do we find our unit rate? Well, we just need to divide one of the units by the other unit. So I'm just going to do, for this one, 420 miles in 7 hours. I'm just going to divide 420 miles by 7 hours. And I'm going to do long division and show my work. 420 divided by 7 would be 60. And what would that represent? So the 60 represents miles per hour. So miles per hour. All right, and for these first few questions, I do want this whole thing. So how would I respond to this in a Google form? So what you're going to have in the Google form is essentially just a blank page, something like this. Okay, so you're going to see a picture of the problem set, and you have a copy of it in your book. And for the form, you're just going to be given a blank essay page to write into. So when you get that blank essay page, we're going to answer this first question. This is going to be from problem 1. And we're going to put 1.1 since it is multiple. Oh, no, 1.A, I should say. 1.A, since we're responding to question A here. So I'm going to write 60 miles per hour. And that's going to be a 3-point answer for me right there, right? So you're going to go down, you're going to keep going. You're going to find a unit rate for part B, etc. Give me just a second here. All right, so you're going to come up with your unit rates for B, C, and D, and you're going to fill them in similar to what we did right here using the rate. And then you're going to come down to number 2, 18 to 4. What are some equivalent ratios? So you're going to put 18 to 4 equals 2, or I should say 9 to 2. Well, there's one example for you. You can divide them both by 2. So 9 to 2 is equal to 18 to 4. What else could I do? I could multiply it by 2, right? So 18 times 2 would be 36, and 4 times 2 would be 8. So that's another example. So you need to give me one more. You need to give me one more equivalent ratio, all right? You can do it. You can do it. All right, so from here, we're going to move on to what would be considered constructive response problems. And this is the rubric for your constructive response problems. So what if you have a constructive, like a word problem, right? If you have a word problem, say like Jake has 2 buttons and finds 2 more. How many does he have now? All right, so we want to get the most amount of points we can on each one of these. All right, so operations, that's just like what we talked about before. Operations is just the math part. Okay, so I want to get all my points for my operation. So what do I need to do? I want to get all of the operational aspects to this question correct. So some word problems you get are going to have more than one part of the question that they want you to answer, but we want to try and get all of them, right? So in my example, I have 2 buttons. I find 2 more, so that's going to be like a 2 plus 2 situation, and that's going to equal 4. So 4 is going to be the operational part of this. And as long as I have that, then I'm going to be okay. Okay, now spelling and grammar. All right, I want to get a 2 on this. So I want my response to be in a complete sentence. Complete thoughts or sentence. Complete thoughts, sentences with appropriate grammar and capitalization and punctuation. You've all taken English for a while now. You need to talk to Misty about how to write in full sentences, okay? I'll be pretty lenient about this, but you want to use correct grammar, capitalization, punctuation. You want it to be a full sentence. So what would a full sentence for this look like? Okay. Okay, so look, also, we want to restate the question now. I wanted to throw this at you because response restates the question. So what is the question? How many buttons do I have now? So does Jake have now? So to restate the question, I would want to say Jake now has 4 buttons. Okay, and I want to have my supporting evidence, which over here really is sufficient evidence. But if I wanted to continue this, I would write because, and because is fine there, because 2 plus 2 equals 4. So that's a complete sentence, complete thoughts. It restates the question, and it's got the correct answer. So I'm going to get 2 points for my operations because I got the correct answer. I'm going to get 2 points for writing this in a complete sentence. I'm going to get 1 extra point for restating the question in my response. So that's 5 points total on any constructive response problem. So, and the way this could work in a more practical sense on specific word problems, I'm going to show y'all some right now. You have 5 what I would call operational. So these operational from the rubric, you can get 3 points per. There are 5 questions total. So that means you can get 15 total points right here. There's 15 total points within here, okay? And I'll have three constructor response problems at 5 points each, so that is a total of 15 possible points. All right, so let's go over how we would respond to some of these. So for this one, I think I'm going to use number 4 as an example. All right, so Jonathan's parents told him that every 5 hours he could complete after 5 hours of homework or reading he completes, he will be able to play 3 hours of video games. His friend Lucas's parents told their son that he could play for 30 minutes for every hour of homework or reading he completes. Wow, that's specific. If the boys spend the same amount of time doing homework and reading, which boy will get to play video games more? How do you know? So the question is, oh God, please, can I write over here? No, I'm not going to be able to write over here. The question is, so for Jonathan gets 3 hours of video games for every 5 hours of homework. So for every 5 hours of homework, he gets 3 hours of video games. So 5 to 3. And what's his name? Lucas gets 30 minutes for every hour that he does. So if he does 1 hour of work, he gets 30 minutes of playtime, or 0.5 hours, right? 1/2 of an hour. 30 minutes is half of an hour, so let's write it like that. All right, so we want a unit rate for each one of these. And now look, we do have a unit rate for Justin over here. So for every hour for Lucas, for every hour of work Lucas does, he gets a half hour of video game play. So we could just divide both of these parts over here by 5, and that would be reasonable. So Justin 5 to 3 equals, and you're going to do your long division, so we're going to divide 3 by 5. He gets for every 1 hour of work, he gets 0.6 hours to play. So who gets more? What's more, half or 0.6? Well, we know half is 0.5, and 0.6 is more than 0.5. So Justin gets more video game hours. So how would I go about responding this? Let's say in a full sentence, right? If I wanted to get my full 5 points for this. So First, I would come to my Google form, and I would go, and I would have left my response for problem 3, and I would have come down to problem 4, and I would say, by repeating the question, which the question is what? What exactly was the question? Okay. Which boy gets more time to play video games? So who has a better unit rate, right? Justin. Justin will get to play more video games. We'll get more time, you could say, right? Justin will get to play more video games. He gets a larger unit rate of play per work hours. Something like that would be sufficient. So I restated the question. Who gets to play more video games? Well, restating the question. Hold on. Okay, so if I wanted to restate the question, I would say, if Justin and Lucas work the same number of hours, then Justin will get to play more video games. There you go. And I explained how do I know that's sufficient. So this is a 5-point response right here, okay? So again, in Google Forms, this is all you're going to have. Type up your answer. And okay, so let's just talk about problems 3 and 5 before I leave you off of the deep end here. So problem 3, we have Mr. Raleigh, who is apparently a teacher. Mr. Raleigh has 16 homework passes, homework papers, and 14 exit tickets. Thank God she does. Oh, he does. Okay, Mr. Rivera has 64 homework papers and 60 exit tickets. For each teacher, write a ratio to represent the homework papers to number of exit tickets they have. Great. Are the ratios equivalent is the question. Great. So write a ratio for Mr. Raleigh. His homework papers were 16 to 14 exit tickets. So a ratio would be 16 to 14. Write a ratio for Rivera. 64 homework passes to 60 exit tickets. That'd be 64 to 60. So the question is, are these equal? Are they equal? Explain. And you can do that in a full sentence. So the way you would want to respond to that is something like this. You come back to your Google form over here. I'll shrink this just for the sake of it. Come back and we would have in our response. So if we wanted to repeat the question, we would say these ratios blank are or are not, are, right, are or aren't, you tell me, okay, right, are or aren't. These ratios are or aren't equivalent and then you could explain, you could either say 16 to 14 equals something that equals 64 60ths or not, right? You're going to explain whether you think it is or it isn't. All right. So, okay, let's go to number 5. Number 5. So, one of the girls, of the girls who tried out for the lacrosse team in middle school. Oh my goodness. Who tried out for the lacrosse team? What school are they going to? I want to try out for the lacrosse team. Okay. Of the girls who tried out for the lacrosse team, 12 made it. Of the 40 boys who tried out, 16 made it. Are the ratio of numbers of students to the numbers of students who tried out for both, but are they? It is asking if they're equivalent, right? Are the ratios the same? Yes. So you're going to write your ratios. So 30 girls. Okay, so 30 girls tried out. 12 made it. Is that an equal ratio to 40 boys to the 16 who made it? Or is that equal or no? Is it? I don't know. You tell me, and you got it. Right answer. You're on your own on that one. Okay, I gave enough examples. Just figure out whether it is or is not equivalent. Look back over the lesson if you need to. You have that video to look at. Okay, that one's for you to figure out. All right, and to create a response for it. So 3 through 5 are constructed response. So you have a total of 15 points. You have a total of 15 points from the operational problems. So that means there's 30 total points, 30 potential points. And I always like to leave a little wiggle room. So I'm going to make this worth a 25-point assignment. Okay? Excuse me. I apologize. Okay, so 25-point assignment. 6 and 7 will be bonus. This will be bonus points. So 5 points each, that's 10 points bonus, 10 points. Down here, you don't need to do them 3 through 5 and 1 and 2. Okay, 25-point assignment. That means you can get more than 25 points, but you're not going to get more than 100 points on the assignment. Okay, fantastic. All right, I'll talk to y'all in the next one.